Hi there, today we're looking at the Huzzle Cast Donuts puzzle by Hanayama. Special thanks to Puzzle Master for sending this in free of charge so that we can make this video for you. Now let's get right into it. Alrighty, looks like we've got the Cast Donuts puzzle. It's quite smaller than I expected. It's very nice. I think it would be a very nice pocket puzzle. But currently, as you can see, it looks like we've got two donuts that are interlinked in this very tight configuration. Also, it says here in printing, Donuts by Hanayama. Well, copyright Hanayama. I guess without further ado, let's see if we can open it or take it apart. Let's start the timer now. So first impressions, we have one donut here which appears to be just two simple halves. And I think that because one of them spins freely, except they stop at one point, which is odd. And I think we could tell why by trying to separate it, except it won't. There's a little peg in this donut. There are two pegs in this donut. So if you look here, you can see them hitting each other. What is the other donut's construction? This one is a lot more interesting. You've got many different cuts. It's not a straightforward one. You've got this line here. It goes along the edge. It follows through, and then it exits this way. Then here it goes around the front. So you've got this weird 90-degree cut on one side, and on the other side, you also have a 90-degree cut. Not sure how this would be crucial to the solve. On trying to separate them, I see there is yet again a peg here to control some movements. Okay, interestingly enough, it looks like this split right here is completely cut through. We could get the pamphlet that they gave us, and yeah, I could show that the cut goes all the way through, like so. So, that's another bit of the construction. Besides that, let's see if we can see more about the puzzle. Okay, prying this out further, I could see that there is a little groove in each of the donuts for the pegs to fit into, which makes sense, of course. And we've got a split down this part of the donut. Okay. I wonder if I have enough information as to be able to just reason my way through this. Oh, okay. Wait, what? Hey! Hey, that's not right. Okay, so it looks like the disassembly is not too difficult. The recording took about 8 minutes and I just solved one part of it. So it looks like these two donut halves have a magnet securing them in place. Like that. Wait, what? Okay, no magnet. I was thinking that was, those are magnets here and here, but it looks like it's just an artifact of the casting process. So I think the best thing to do is to try to reassemble it. So let's try to do that now. Okay, so I believe the interesting thing here is that I cannot just fit the donut in right away. I also noticed that it's easy to place one, and maybe I could place the other? Okay, I could place the other like so, but not together at once. So I think this might be a bit of a coordinated motion thing, where you have to have multiple pieces grouped together in multiple groups and then try to put them together as such. So I'm going to place this like this, and then grab another one, and then trying to put it in the other way. So I have half here and half here, like so. And then I'm going to try to do some coordinated motion to fit everything together. Okay. One interesting thing that's blocking it is... oh, there's a bit of tape here. One thing that's blocking it are the pegs in here. So I think that might be a key part to solving this. Okay, I just got these two halves together, and it looks like, yeah, they went together outside of the halves of the other donut. So that means they will not go together anymore. So this needs to be synchronized, and it's already getting a bit tricky. Okay, so I've got the two halves again. The tricky part is trying to figure out where to position these pegs. I believe that might be key to solving this. So let's try it this way. And there we go. We solved it. That was probably the fastest I've ever solved a Hanayama puzzle, and not too bad, I guess, because I'm quite surprised actually. This so far I think is one of the hardest ones for me, and that was a 4 out of 6 star puzzle. But I just solved it. Of course, the true test is to try to take it apart and reassemble it a second time, and that's usually where I find out I was just lucky again. So let's see if I could take this apart again, and I'll get back to you. Okay, interesting how this one resembles the number 2, and then it's still stuck for some reason. That's interesting. Okay, now I am astonished as to why this is not this is not falling apart so easily this time. What is going on here? And I'm still trying to figure out if I was supposed to be able to pry that apart as such. Like sometimes it's struggling, sometimes it just obliges like that. And I'm just noticing now that this only does that nicely when these two halves are starting to separate. So in what situation is that? So that's when one of the pegs are at the bottom, and it looks like the other one is on top. If I flip it around, you could see that it was on top. So that appears to be the key in putting this together. The tricky thing is to hold on to the pieces. So something like this, where you have a peg at the top, a peg on the bottom, and you need some sort of coordinated effort to put the halves together. Okay, I think I got it. So I've got a peg in another peg, but this bottom donut is offset from each other, but they are flush. Then you can slide it all together as such. Absolutely brilliant. And then it locks in place. Okay, so this is the motion I need to try to work out. Like, how is this possible? And yeah, that's when they're opposite to each other. If they're right next to each other, it's much more strict. If they're 90 degrees, they also don't want to slide around. But if they are exact opposites of each other, then the rings slide pretty well. And once you have that, you can line things up and have things fit nicely. So you would have, oh, I think you have to have it like this. The right side in there. the left side in here, and then it all slides together as such. That is quite crazy. Okay, I think I will need to make a tutorial to show you how to do this. Okay, I think this is the fourth time. Fourth time's a charm. Let's see if we can get this reliably and knowledgeably this time, so we know what we're doing. There are 2 pegs here. I'm gonna take one and place it at the bottom, and then the other one on top, which will be hard to see, but I believe it's on the top now, and that should let it separate just like that. Alright, and then we're going to do this the opposite. We're going to take the 2 halves that are cut in the way you'd expect, and then make sure the pegs are opposite so that they can slide around like this while remaining flush. We're going to have the halves offset like this. Then we're going to place the half in here and do the same on the other side. I'm going to place the half in here. Then we can just slide everything together, and once you slide this white ring, or the wider ring, it locks in place and things do not easily fall apart. Alrighty, some thoughts on this puzzle. I think it's really neat. It's a nice little round, pleasing thing to hold in your hands. It's quite ingenious in the way it's put together, in that you basically have to orient this donut and its 2 halves in such a way that everything will come apart. If you're off by a bit, it's not going to work. So it's either by chance or by actually reasoning out how to solve this. It's sort of like a yoke puzzle where you have another element that it becomes a ball, and you have to rotate it in a specific way so that it will let everything come apart. So this is a little bit of a dexterity puzzle, but because it's only 4 pieces, it's easier to manage than the cast arrows puzzle. Unlike the other puzzles, this puzzle had most of its mechanisms hidden. So you have to carefully separate the pieces as much as they can to tell what's going on. And if you don't, then you're pretty much on your own. Also, it's pretty clever how the pegs have to be in a special position relative to each other. I think I just found it, I don't know, I instinctively thought it was a good idea to keep them separated, and that's turned out to be the right assumption to make. But that was a subconscious thing. If you're aimlessly moving things around, it's highly unlikely you're going to come up to accidentally separate this. So overall, I think it's a good thing to get for inexperienced puzzle solvers, because it is, I think, one of the coolest things to have on your desk. This is very compact, it doesn't take up too much space, and it looks very mysterious as there's very little gap or play between the donuts while they're individually whole. It's quite nifty. I think this would be a very nice thing to gift because of its deceptive simplicity. It looks simple, but it's actually a little bit trickier than it seems. Actually, could be much trickier than it seems, depending on how aimlessly you're moving the puzzle around. If you'd like to get one for yourself, please check the links in the description below. They are affiliate links, which means I get a small cut from any purchases made through them, which helps support this channel and making it better for you, and so that we have more things to look at. If you have any questions, concerns in regards to this video, please let me know. I'm open to criticism, and if there's anything I need to fix, I will try my best to fix them. Anyways, thanks for watching.